Hello and welcome back to the final part of this Let's Play of Uru Complete Chronicles. And no, I don't mean that this is the final video. What I do mean is that we are now beginning Path of the Shell, the second and last of the expansion packs. So this is the final part of our journey through Uru, even though we are still quite a ways from the ending. Well, where Tudani wrapped up the story of the DRC, this will wrap up the story of Yisha, pretty much, anyway. Before we begin, I want to point out this little thing here, which is actually the last Relto page we got in the Great Shaft, which I neglected to point out in the previous video. You might recognize this thing, because something very similar to it was also in the Gen's office on his 233rd age in Riven, and it is in fact a music player. So we can use it to listen to music here in our Relto. That's nice. So now that we are going to begin Path of the Shell, it is time to look at the bottom shelf of this bookshelf, because these books all have the shell symbol on it, indicating that they are related to Path of the Shell. This first book tells the story of the Watcher, and I will read it now. On the 625th month of my life, I was gazing upon the star of Ses in the sky of the age of Windring. And at the time of my birth the star began to brighten until it became brighter than the rings themselves. And with a sudden brilliance it turned the night into day. And I beheld the fire of the Maker. And he spoke to me. And the fire of the Maker left me, and I saw only blackness, because my eyes were blinded. But his words remained. You will wait for a time, and you will watch for a time more, and you will receive the signs of things that have been, and signs of things that will be. And great wisdom will be passed through you, so that those who come after you will know that I am the Maker. You will watch for the signs of the builders, for the builders will make great things of Dani, and Dani will grow and prosper. But this prosperity is a curse, so the sign of the builders is a curse. You will watch for the signs of the breakers, for the breakers will make nothing of Dani. And Dani will die, but this death is a blessing, so the sign of the breakers is a blessing. You will watch for the signs of the grower, for the grower will see the dead tree, and the grower will see the new sprigs, and the grower will prune. The grower will grow the new Dani, so the sign of the grower is a blessing. And so for 1 day I watched and waited for the signs, but there were none. And so for 4 more days I watched and waited for the signs, but there were none. And so for 20 more days I watched and waited for the signs, but there were none. And so for 100 more days I watched and waited for the signs, but there were none. And so for 600 more days I watched and waited for the signs, but there were none. And I cried out to the Maker, How long will you make me watch and wait, for I am weary? And the Maker replied, You will watch and wait until the signs come, for you are the Watcher. And so for 1 more month I watched and waited for the signs, but there were none. And so for 4 more months I watched and waited for the signs, but there were none. And so for 20 more months I watched and waited for the signs, but there were none. And so for 100 more months I watched and waited for the signs, but there were none. And so for 600 more months I watched and waited for the signs. And many years had passed, and I was weary, but still I watched. And at the time of my birth on that final day, as I waited near the cavern on Rolep, a wind blew through the cavern, and my sight was restored. And the first thing I looked upon was the stairs of Rolep, and I climbed to the top, and looked out at the great tree of Dani, and wept. And the Maker spoke these words, Behold, you have watched for me, and now I will bless you. Today I have given you your sight, and tomorrow you will prosper. I will give you wisdom, but I will keep you from pride. The wisdom I give you, you will not understand. It is for those to come. Be humble and write the wisdom that I will show you. And so on the first day the Maker gave me 5 lines of wisdom, and I wrote the first 5 lines in 5 sections, 1 in each section. And so on the second day the Maker gave me 5 more lines of wisdom, and these lines became the second lines in each of the 5 sections. For 125 days the Maker gave me 5 lines of wisdom on each day, and they were added to the sections, and then I rested. And this is how these words of the Maker were given to me. But I know not whether they are signs of things that have been, or signs of things that will be. And these lines I have written, so that those who come after me will know the wisdom of the Maker. Now this tells the story of the Watcher, who is a prophet of Dani, who, as said in this story, was given the words of the Maker, which he wrote down in 5 sections. The remaining 5 books on the bookshelf here are these 5 sections. You can see that each one is numbered, section 1 up to section 5. This is the work called Words. We've seen it mentioned before in the notebooks on on the rooftop above Dakota Alley. I won't read all of the 5 sections because most of it won't make much sense. I will read one of them just to give you an idea of what's in them. Section 1. Revere the Maker, cherish the maid, here lies wisdom. The door lies at the end of the path. Who will gather? Many. Who will finish? Few. The grower will take time. The grower will bring light. The grower will have ages. Take time and move it to and fro. Bring light and give it to the dark places. Have ages and link to them without bindings. Loud cries yet again. Can it be made? No. We mourn our loss. No one sees. In rock is where changes are found. Because of tunnels, Dani has changed forever. New events surround us, awaiting our arrival. The path to the left or right, that is the only power of man. The grower leads in the dark, while the deceiver flails in the light. The grower raises truth in the absence of eyes, while the deceiver blesses them in clear view of many. Without the grower, those who are like the grower would never learn. Without the grower, the name known by all would not have existed. Knowing the least is the path of wisdom, a sweet aroma rising up. Kings and prophets, the proud ones, have the stench of death. The passing of time brings the path of the gathered. The path to the gathered. A breach has been cut, and now the paths are joined. The giving of gifts heals the wounds of the builder. In cages they weep, time and again, but without their tears truth remains hidden. Your cry is your call. If no one will hear them, weep for us. The choices of the wise bring pleasure to the Maker. The meeting of worlds is death and life. They count years and months. A long week is as short as an age is long. There is noise where once was silence, light where once there was not. Stone stands tall and rock falls down, and they are watched always, not knowing. Silence will return, light will fade, stone will fall, rock will grow again. From the shadow of the wound, history will be rewritten. The disease will spread until Dani cannot be saved. 7 they are, though little do they realize. Only 4 is seen as they see, for 7 is 1, and 1 is 7. Writing of links is a gift to be cherished. Where are our people? Who are our people? What are our people? Cry those who die on the streets. The crumbling of the walls will come from within. The stories of the destroyer will be the start of the burden. The burdened one will come from outside. The burden of the remnant will be laid upon his shoulders. Be still, and the path will be made known. What will grow? The tree of all things. Who will grow it? The grower. Pages burn, ink spills. Is there no one to protect us when we turn against ourselves? Books will be your stronghold, and then you will die. The destroyer will cut down the great tree of wickedness. Another place will be their refuge. Another place will be their home. Dance and celebrate, for the tree grows again. 7 nameless abused, 6 called abused. 5 sent away, 4 Celta free, 3 accepted without 18, 2 1 of 8, 1 wear collar and hold paper. Poison fills the hearts of many. New airs enter some. Believe. The scream you hear has no breath. Old ways are kept just to test. Curses rain upon the others, from the lips of the proud. Eyes are removed, yet sight is restored. Well, you can see that is bloody cryptic. So the rest is basically similar to this and just as incomprehensible, so I'm not going to read all of it. I will, however, continue in the next video.